we are learning Python graphics. We are learning Python graphics. And we learn the for loop. Isn't it? We learn the for loop. Have you written it 5 times? Yes. 1. Fill in the blanks I have given. For I in range 8, FD 100, RT. What will be the RT? Isn't it? What will be the RT? How will you calculate the RT? 360 divided by 8. 360 divided by 8, what will be the answer? 45. The RT will be 45. This is the answer for the homework question which I have given. Note it down. If it is not correct, write it 5 times and still. Today we are going to patterns. How will you draw patterns in Python graphics? To draw patterns, see, this is a pattern. We have learned to draw a square, a triangle, then a pentagon, hexagon, isn't it? Octagon. But today we are going to learn what a pattern. That means, see, these are squares. How many squares are there? Can you count and say how many squares are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 square pattern. There's a 6 square pattern. 6 square pattern. If a figure, to get a figure, what do you have to do? You have to count. How many are there? How many are there? 6 are there. What figure is it? Square. There's a square. It is a 6 square pattern. 6 square pattern. How will you draw a 6 square pattern? We are going to see that. For drawing a 6 square pattern, we have to learn nested loop. What do we have to learn? Nested loop. Nested loop. Okay. We have learned for loop. We have learned for loop. How to write for loop, we have learned it. Today we are going to learn nested loop. Okay. What is nested loop? One loop within another loop is called nested loop. ഒരു ലൂപ്പിനകത്ത് വേറൊരു loop. That is called nested. Okay. Today we are going to learn nested loop. How to write the nested loop. So to draw this pattern, what is the pattern? How will you identify the pattern? How many are there? 6. What is the figure? Square. 6 square pattern. 6 square pattern. You know how to draw a square. You know how to draw a square. What is the for loop? For drawing a square? For I in range inside the bracket. For square, how many sides are there? 4. Then FD 100. RT how much? If it is 4, what is the RT? 360 divided by 4. That is 90. 90. This is for drawing a square. It is completed. Now what you have to do after drawing a square, the turtle should turn and draw another one like this. Isn't it? It should draw another one by turning. For turning you have to write one more loop. How many times it should turn? How many times? 6 times. It should turn how many times? 6 times. How many squares? 6 squares. For that we have to write a loop. How will you write the loop? See, you have to write for, here you have used I, the variable I. So I am using j. Okay, you can use any variables from A to Z, but it should not be repeated. Should not be repeated. For j in range, how many squares? 6. 6. Then, only turning is going on there, isn't it? For turning, we will write only RT. RT, if it is 6, what will be 360 divided by 6? 60. A loop inside another loop. See, 2 loops are there. If there are 2 loops, we call it as nested loop. We call it as nested loop. One loop within another loop is called nested loop. Why you are using nested loop? Because we want to draw a pattern. Is it clear? What will be the first command to be written? From capital import star. How many loops are there? 4. 2 loops. 2 loops. What does the first loop indicate? What does the first loop indicate? How many squares? How many squares? How many squares? How many squares? 6. How many squares you have to count? 6. If it is 6, what will be RT? 360 divided by 6. 360 divided by 6. What is that? 60. You have to learn this. What? If it is 3, 120, 4, 90, 5, 72, 6, 60. In this way, you have to learn that. Then you don't want to what? Divide. By heart this. How many squares are there? 6 squares. So the turning will be 60. After turning, it should draw what? What should be drawn? That is this loop. What should be drawn? What should be drawn? What should be drawn? Square. The answer is square. If it is square, you have to write 490. Is it clear? This is nested loop. Where do we use nested loop? To draw patterns. To draw patterns. Is it clear? You will see in the practical section. Let's move on to the practical.
Opening the ideally application, programming, ideally. Application programming ideally. Repeating again and again. Learn the path. In the Python shell window, we don't write the program. File, new file. File, new file. This is the new window. Here we will write the program which we have learned today. That is the nested loop. What is the first command to be written? Always from turtle import star, isn't it? From turtle import star. After that, what we have to write? Clearing the screen, then pen color, inside the bracket, double quotes, what color you want you have to write. I am writing green, closing it. Then we can give the pen size inside the bracket, giving 5. Okay, then the first loop is to count how many squares you have to draw. For I in range, inside the bracket, 6 squares I have to draw, then 6 colon then enter key, RT, inside the bracket if it is 6 then it will be 60. Press the enter key. See the cursor where it is standing? Then don't move the cursor to the margin. Okay, you have to write there for J in range. Inside the bracket we want to draw the square, so four sides. Then what will be FD? FD inside the bracket 100, then RT inside the bracket 90 because 4. Then what you have to do? You have to save it. File, save as, square pattern, giving the name square pattern. Square pattern. Then after that I am going to save it. Then I am going to run it. Run module. See the green color pattern. Yes. How beautiful it is. Yes. You want to change the color and see. Giving red. Okay. In the coming classes we will learn how to change the color, each square of different color. Okay, thank you. See you in the next class.